Hi, I'm Twin. Welcome to my channel Issues of Contention. There are a lot of debatable issues people express different and polarizing opinions on. Weight loss is one of them. This is part 6 of my weight loss story. I use the nutrition value calculator to estimate my actual intake of calories and nutrients. The web link is on the slide. For your information, you can create your own account for free on this website. Enter all food products and portions you typically eat in a day and then save your output. I entered in the nutrition value calculator all the data on food products I eat for breakfast. This is for breakfast. For lunch, second meal, and then for dessert, third meal. As an output, you can get the very detailed breakdown of your daily food intake into calories, nutrients, including vitamins and minerals, different ratios like omega-3 to omega-6, and etc. My daily fat intake. As you can see from the slide, my total daily fat intake is 76 grams. That is 97% of daily value. So daily value is equals to 78 grams a day. My daily saturated intake came out as 15 grams. That is 75% of daily value. Daily value is 20 grams a day. The fact I stay within daily value for both total fat and saturated fat is a very good outcome. Let's look into what major fat contributors in my diet are. As you can see from this table, there are three top ones: olive oil, chicken breast, almond butter. It's amazing to realize that only 3 tablespoons of olive oil make up 53% of all my daily fat intake, whereas 100 grams of chicken breast, only 6.6%. Saturated fat. As to saturated fat, out of 15 grams consumed daily, 5 grams or 33% come from olive oil. That is twice as little, 2.5 grams of saturated fat coming from 100 grams of chicken breast. That's amazing. Amazing discovery. The question is, can I cut down on saturated fat? I think no, I cannot. All bad stuff is already eliminated or minimized, so there is nothing to cut down on. Good and bad fats. There are 4 types of fat: saturated, trans fat, mono unsaturated, and polyunsaturated. Calorie-wise, all fats are made the same. There are 9 calories in every gram of fat, regardless of what type of fat it is. According to Healthline, saturated fat and trans fat are potentially harmful to health. Most of the food that contain those are solid at room temperature. For example, butter, pork fat, as well as coconut oil. That is how we can recognize them. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats are good, heart healthy fats. A monounsaturated fat. According to Healthline, a monounsaturated fat can improve cholesterol level and decrease risk of cardiovascular disease. Monounsaturated fat is present in nuts, for example, almonds, cashews, peanuts, vegetable oil like olive oil, peanut butter and almond butter, avocado. Polyunsaturated fat and omega-3. According to Healthline, polyunsaturated fats are known as essential fats because the body cannot make them and needs to get them from foods. A certain type of this fat, omega-3, is particularly beneficial for heart. Omega-3 decreases the risk of coronary artery disease, helps lower blood pressure levels. The following types of foods contain omega-3: fish like salmon, herring, sardines, trout, nuts, for example, walnuts, seeds, flaxseed and chia seeds, canola oil. There is an interesting relationship between polyunsaturated fat and omega-6. According to, again, the same Healthline, unlike omega-3, omega-6 fats are very common in various foods. That is why omega-3 fats are usually consumed in smaller amounts. Historically, human diet provided for the 1:1 and 4:1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats. Modern humans now consume these fats in from 15 to 617 to 1 ratio. So this ratio historically changed dramatically. What's the problem with omega-6 then? Omega-6 fats can contribute to chronic inflammation if you consume too much of it or if omega-3 intake is low. In other words, what matters is not so much the amount of omega-6 intake, but the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, meaning that an excess amount of omega-6 can be offset by higher intake of omega-3, or a lack of omega-3 can be minimized by intake of omega-6. Omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. The question is, which foods have zero omega-6 content, bad content, and 100% omega-3 content, which is good content? The answer to this question is negative. There are none. A lot of food products have both omega-3 and omega-6 fats, but in different ratios. In other words, omega-3 and omega-6 fats go hand in hand in different foods, but not individually. You cannot get one single food with 100% omega-3 content only. It's always the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio in different foods with different ratios. Let's have a look at olive oil as an example of healthy, high omega-3 content oil. As you can see from this slide, omega oil has almost 73 grams of monounsaturated fat, 10.5 grams of polyunsaturated fat, almost 14 grams of saturated fat. So 10.5 grams of polyunsaturated fat are comprised of 9.76 grams of omega-6 and 0.76 grams of omega-3. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is about 13 to 1. What's the implication of that? Olive oil is not 100% healthy omega-3 fat oil, though it is much healthier vis-a-vis some alternatives, for example sunflower oil and others. It has very unhealthy saturated fat and omega-6. As we'll see in the next slide, there are foods with higher omega-3 content which we should know of and choose them over other food products. Let's have a look. According to Wikipedia, the highest omega-3 content food products are some fish products have lower than 1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. For example, tuna, the ratio is 1 to 31, salmon 1 to 10, herring 1 to 12. Some seeds have higher than 1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, like lentils 4 to 1, hemp seeds 3 to 1. Omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in nuts is in walnuts 4 to 1, almonds 2000 to 1, peanuts 4 to 1. So from the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio among nuts, almonds are preferable to peanuts and walnuts are preferable to almonds. Omega-3 content-wise, the champion is flax seeds that have the highest omega-3 content. It's almost 23 milligrams over 100 grams. And flax seeds lose only to tuna, but at the same time flax seeds also have high content of omega-6. So it's almost 6,000 milligrams or to 100 grams, with the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 1 to 4. But ratio-wise, flax seeds is losing to tuna despite being the highest omega-3 content food in absolute terms. Let's take a look at omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in my diet. So omega-6, as you can see on this slide, is 0.13 grams. Omega-3 is 0.08 grams. So the ratio omega-6 to omega-3 is 1.58. The question is, can I reverse the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in my diet? And how healthy is my fat consumption breakdown? Let's take a critical look. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 1.58 in my diet is quite good. Let's look if omega-3 supplements and tuna fish can make a sizable difference in twisting the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio in favor of omega-3 prevalence over omega-6. If I start taking 1000 milligrams of omega-3 supplements daily, that would make my ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 equal to 8.3, with 8 to 1 prevalence of omega-3 over omega-6. What about tuna? Also, if I can introduce in my diet a can of tuna a day in water, instead of 100 grams of chicken breast, that would give me an extra 0.23 grams of omega-3 and 0 milligrams of omega-6. That's amazing. That would have made the ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 equal 10.13 grams over 1.8 grams, with 10 to 1 prevalence of omega-3 over omega-6. So this is how reversed omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in my diet looks like. Overall, this ratio, omega-6 to omega-3, can be easily twisted in favor of omega-3 prevalence over omega-6 due to supplements and minor dietary changes such as tuna, as you can see on the slide. Let's move to fat breakdown of my diet. As you can see from the slide, based on the nutrition value calculator, the breakdown by types of fat in my diet is as follows. Total fat intake 76 grams. This is 100%. Saturated fat 15 grams. Monounsaturated fat 45 grams or 42%. Polyunsaturated fat 12 grams or 32%. Trans fat, there are traces, 0.17 grams. In my next videos, I'll give you the breakdown of my diet by cholesterol and essential nutrients, vitamins and minerals. Thank you for watching.